Hello everyone, it's Alex from Bad Decks Played Badly, and this is this week's deck. As you can tell from the title up here, it says Mono Black Control, and that's what we're going to be playing. I've never played a Mono Black Control deck before, and I've never built one before, so I'm quite intrigued to see how this one holds up. I'm not sure if it's going to be the best one, but I'm hoping to have a bit of fun with it. Yeah, we've got a couple of weird win conditions, but I'll get around to it. I'll actually start with them. So our win conditions, for the most part, is either going to be Tormenting, Hellfire. So repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless their player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. Pretty self-explanatory. We want to have a lot of mana to ramp into this, and we're going to show you how we do that in a second. So the idea is to play this for X for 7, 8, and they just lose a ridiculous amount of life or have to sacrifice a ridiculous amount of permanents. We're going to keep permanents off the battlefield, so hopefully they'll just be discarding and losing life. It's going to be a a tricky win, but we shall see. I'll start just with another little combo I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing 4 copies of Lost Legacy main deck. So choose a non-artifact, non-land card name, search target player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name and exile them. That player shuffles their library and draws a card for each card exiled from their hand. It's very rare for people to play this main deck. The reason is, not only can I get them to get rid of their best cards, but it's mainly, in fact, a way for our other win condition to draw Eternal Scourges. So essentially we can use Lost Legacy on ourselves, exile all the Eternal Scourges out of our deck and into exile, and then we can play them from exile, which is pretty awesome. It's essentially Lost Legacy's pay free, draw 4 creatures, so that's kind of what we're going for in this, and we're just going to hopefully kill all of our stuff and beat them down with our little Eternal Scourges. Yeah, that is the main plan of the deck, really. I've got some other interesting stuff that can help us win, but that's kind of it. Right, I'll start with just the 1-drops and all that stuff. So we're playing Mono Black, so we want to have discard. I do apologise for not having any art, by the way. For some reason, Magic Online's been a bit weird with me recently, and the art for some cards aren't coming up, and I don't know why. But, oh well, who cares then? So we're going to do some discarding. We've got 1 copy of Divest, which is actually surprisingly good. Target player reveals their hand, you choose an artifact or a creature card from it, and that player discards that card. We don't really have much artifact hate, so at least to have 1 copy is quite nice. We've got my usual 4 copies of Inquisition of Kozilek. Target player reveals their hand, choose a non-land card from it. We've converted mana cost 3 or less, and that player discards that card. Pretty self-explanatory, I use it quite a lot. And as you've probably seen from the deck before, my token 1 copy I own of Thoughtseize. Target player reveals their hand, they choose a non-land card from it, that player discards that card, you lose 2 life. That's kind of it. I've got 1 copy main deck of Relic of Progenitus. I mean, 1 graveyard stuff is a real problem, but also we can, if our Eternal Scourges get killed, we can't exile all graveyards, so we can actually get our Eternal Scourges back essentially into our hand by putting them back into exile. Plus we get to draw a card, which is, it's very, very useful. So removal, I chose not to play Fatal Pushers, because I'm not playing any fetch lands, and Fatal Pushers tend to be best, when you're doing that. So I'm not actually using any Fatal Pushers. Feel free to put them in your deck, that's up to you, but I'm not using them. So I've gone for, 3 copies of Bile Blight. I actually just really like this card. I know it's only -3/-3, but I like the idea of being able to hit multiple creatures and 2 for 1 your opponent. So I have been using it a bit in other decks, and I just think it still holds up to this day. I've got 1 copy of Ultimate Price, destroy target mono-coloured creature. I would have more, but it just doesn't deal with colourless creatures, which is a bit of an issue. So I didn't want to have too many copies of it. I've got 1 Grasp. It's kind of like Bile Blight, but just doesn't hit multiple creatures, and it's just -4/-4. It's just a great removal card, and anything that we can't get over, we have got 2 copies of Damnation. So anything we don't get rid of with these cards, Damnation should hopefully take care of. I've got 2 copies of Victim in the Night as well. Same reason, it's just destroy target non-vampire, non-werewolf, non-zombie creature. You don't see zombies, vampires, or werewolves running around much in Modern, so it's just a very good removal card. So for card draw, I've got 4 copies of Sign in Blood. I think you guys all know Sign in Blood. target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. So we're going to be drawing cards and losing 2 life. The only downside of this deck I've noticed is that there's not much life gain, if at all, so we could be very, very useless against burn, but we'll have to see. As I said, the 4 copies of Lost Legacy, 4 copies of Eternal Scourge, and just one more bit of card draw. It's just 1 Underworld Connections. You could play Phyrexian Arena if you've got it, which would be better, but I don't, and it's really expensive cards. So this is kind of the budget equivalent, just enchant a land, and then you may tap that land and pay 1 life and draw a card. So that's just it. I've got 2 copies of Damnation. This is just my catch-all, destroy all creatures. We should draw enough cards where 2 copies should be fine. Quite spicy, we have a Mastermind's Acquisition. So this is either choose one, search your library for a card, put it into your hand and shuffle your library. That's pretty good. You know, it's kind of normal. However, we also get to choose a card we own from outside of the game, so we can essentially use our sideboard cards in the main deck just by having 1 Mastermind's Acquisition. That's the reason it's in the deck, really, but I'm sure it will have its moments. Just a catch-all, we have I would have used Hero's Downfall, but I think this is probably better just because it has the aftermath side of it. So Never Return, so destroy target creature or planeswalker. That's just our stuff against planeswalkers, and just a catch-all for any creature on the battlefield. It's nice to have 1 copy. And the aftermath side is exile a target card from a graveyard and create a 2/2 black zombie token creature. So it's just an upside of Hero's Downfall. It is sorcery speed, but that's fine. We play most of it in sorcery anyway. I've got 2 copies of Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. This is another finisher. It's just, play a big planeswalker. Can they deal with it? They might not be able to, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, my dog's barking downstairs. I think the mailman might be coming. If you can hear him on stream, he's going mental. I've also got and 1 copy, the last thing, Killing Wave. It's just something I wanted to use. For each creature its controller sacrifices it unless they pay X life. So this is another sort of board wipe, sort of budgety one. And I've never played it, so I just wanted to play a copy, really. You may have noticed that a lot of our stuff is quite expensive to become useful, like Killing Wave, Tormenting, Hellfire, Ugin. The reason we are playing the big stuff is purely because, and I'll get to the lands now, we are playing 3 copies of Cabal Stronghold. So you can just add it for a colourless, or you can pay 3 and add a swamp for each basic swamp you control. So we, if we have 5 or 6 swamps down, let's say 6, we pay 3 and get 6 mana, and we can just ramp, which is pretty good. It's not actually my dog, it's my mum's dog. I'm dog sitting, as it were, and he likes to sit by on my staircase and just bark at anyone that's outside my house. Hold on a minute, I'm gonna have to edit this out. I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, I'm back. The dog has stopped screaming. He's doing alright. Okay, where was I? So yeah, 3 copies of Cabal Stronghold is kind of my way of ramping into bigger stuff. That's why I'm playing nothing else but swamps, except 2 copies of Bajuka Bog, just so we can exile our opponent's graveyard as well as ours for the same reason, just for Eternal Scourge. We have 2 copies of Leech-Ridden Swamp. As you can tell, it's also a swamp land type, so it doesn't affect our Cabal Stronghold. I just thought it'd be quite good to put in there. It does come in tapped, but we can tap it and pay a swamp, and each opponent loses 1 life. And we can activate this ability only if you control 2 or more black permanents, which won't be a problem, because we have a lot of black permanents. So yeah, that's kind of our plan. And the rest is just swamps. We have 25 overall, so you can do the math if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 18 swamps. And that's it, that's the main board. I'm hoping we have enough finishes and enough removal. I'm kind of intrigued myself. I did have 1 or 2 practice games, and annoyingly we played Affinity, so Lost Legacy was really useless. But we did hold our own. They were just very quick. I think it was like a turn 4 kill to manage, I guess, and our removal just couldn't catch up. And that's actually how I found out about Ultimate Price being a bit rubbish against Affinity, which is why I've dropped it down from 2 copies to 1. So yeah, that's kind of it. The sideboard, let's have a little look. Yeah, we'll sort it by converted mana cost. There we go. Okay, so the sideboard, I've got a few plans. I've decided to put in just one copy of Duress against control. Self-explanatory. Get rid of a non-creature, non-land card from their hand. Just stuff that, you know, our other removal might not be able to get rid of. Because they're going to be taking out pretty much all of their creature removal, if they did have any, I've brought in a few other ones which I've played against before, and they actually worked out really well. I've got 2 copies of Draz Assassin. It's a level up creature, so it starts off as a 1/1, but as soon as you get it to level 2, as it were, you can essentially tap it and give another creature -2/-2. And if you level up to 4+, it's -4/-4. It's just a very good sort of removal creature, and if they don't have their if they take out all their removal, it's just going to be very, very useful. I like the card a lot. I did play against someone with it recently in a stream, and yeah, just a very good card. If you don't deal with it, it's just a nightmare. I've got 3 copies of Pack Rat. This is just my alternate win condition. If their matchup's just really good against mine, just slam a Pack Rat and just hope for the best. It worked really well in the standard it was in, and it still works in modern, so trust me, Pack Rat is good. I've got a copy of Hero's Downfall. This is purely just for another sideboard piece for the for what's it called? Let's find out. Another sideboard piece for Mastermind's Acquisition. Really, I'll just bring it in against Planeswalker decks, really, or anything which my other removal can't get rid of. For Tron and all that stuff, I've got 3 copies of Reign of Tears. Just destroy target land. Just a very good card, self-explanatory. I've got an extra copy of Damnation as well, just in case things are a bit difficult and they're playing a lot of little creatures we just can't deal with. So bring in another copy of Damnation, just a good card. I've got 2 copies of Persecute. If you remember one of the decks I played, if you guys are keeping me up to date, I did play against a deck with Persecute in it, and they just emptied my entire hand, and trust me, that was horrible. So I've been wanting to give it a go since seeing it. So I think Persecute is a great card. Just choose a colour that target player reveals their hand and discards all cards of that colour. It's great against mono-colour decks, and it's just awesome. Some more stuff against sort of control is just mainly kind of our Planeswalkers. These are budget Planeswalkers. I've got Ob Nixilis, Reignited? Well, whatever. So Ob Nixilis, it's just cool because it's good card advantage against control, against other, and it's good against big creature decks because he can destroy target creatures. I was tempted to put him in the main deck, but he ended up making it to the sideboard. He's just a good Planeswalker, and I'm sure I'll find uses for him in certain matchups. And this is the ultimate in the old budget, is Liliana, Death's Majesty. The -3 I'm not actually interested in at all. It's purely there just almost to play like a role like Gideon would, where I just want to tick up, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, and put top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. That's fine. It's just my way of playing, just getting creature tokens out and just kind of gumming up the board a bit. It'd be good as well if I brought this in with Pack Rat and Draz, purely because if I get them into my graveyards or an Eternal Scourge into my graveyard, I can return. But for the most part, it's all about the +1. And then the -7 destroy all non-zombie creatures, that I'm not too interested in that. It's purely there just to chuck out zombies, and every now and again minus it just to get an Eternal Scourge back or a Pack Rat. But yeah, that's kind of it. I'm not sure how well this deck's going to do. This deck is it's very budget friendly, and I'm not sure if this is the correct way to build a mono black control deck, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'll see how it goes. I'm not 100% sure if it'll work. But yeah, if you guys wanna, give me a like, give me a subscribe, all that stuff. That's good. If you want to check out the games, that's even better. I'm probably gonna get completely creamed, but we'll see how this goes. There's little worries I have in this. I'm not sure whether I've made enough room for card draw, and I'm not sure I've got enough spot removal for creatures. In a mono black deck, you expect to have a lot of it, and I've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, 7 should be fine, especially with 2 copies of Damnation. Well, and 8 as well, I guess, with Never Return. But we'll see. But I mean, Ugin, its minus is going to be getting rid of creatures. I've also got a, you know, Killing Wave and Tormenting Hellfire. A pinch will be okay. So we'll just see how it goes. I'm not 100% sure. But this is going to be what I'm playing this week. I'll admit this was a struggle this week to come up with a deck I wanted to play. I think releasing so many videos back to back now, I'm finally starting to get a bit of burnout on Magic. Not necessarily I don't enjoy playing it, but just more. It's really hard to come up with new deck ideas every week. I'm just learning now. I think I've done, what, about 6 or 7 decks now since starting the channel, and I'm finally getting to that point where I'm struggling to come up with decks I want to play, which you just haven't seen already. You know, I could play like Soul Sisters and, you know, other decks. You see a lot of them on them, but I'm going to see how this goes. Hopefully we'll get a few wins anyway. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys for the game, and if you want to check out what's in the deck written down or whatever, there should be a link in the description down below. Alright guys. Oh, I do apologise for my dog as well. He's called Paddy if you want to know. I'll put a picture of him for you if you want. Alright, I'll see you guys there, alright? Bye.